Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Will County Board meeting on January 21st, 2021. In accordance with Public Act 101-640, effective November 13th, 2020, and the gubernatorial disaster proclamation issued by Governor Pritzker on January 8th, 2021, this meeting will be held via video conference to the WebEx events platform. Will County Board members will be attending the meeting remotely, and the general public is strongly encouraged to do the same. The public is invited to comment or pose a question by email at publiccomment@willcountyillinois.com. At the public comments portion of the meeting, the emails will be read into the record. Please go to www.willcountyboard.com/meetings for a link to attend the meeting via WebEx. This meeting is now called to order. And I'm sorry, Speaker Cowan, who is leading us in the pledge and invocation today?
Beth or Lana, will you? Board Member Kraulidis will be leading the pledge and introducing clergy.
All right, thank you very much. Board Member Kraulidis, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Yes. And make sure I can be heard. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I should go ahead and introduce?
Yes, please.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Pastor Kevin DeVries of Moni Free Methodist Church. Pastor Kevin grew up in South Holland, graduated from Thornwood High School, and has served in Moni since 2012. The mission of Moni Free Methodist Church is to glorify God and make disciples of Jesus Christ through loving relationships. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I look forward to praying with and for you today. So let's pray together. Almighty God, we pause now at the start of this day and the start of this meeting to acknowledge that you are the creator and sustainer of our world. All life comes from you, yes, even the very breath in our lungs today is a gift of your grace. May we receive the gift of today and use it to bring honor to you, honor to our country, and honor to our Father, our land has been in troubled times that have divided, hurt, and caused us to view our neighbor as our enemy. Lord, for the ways we have contributed to the division, convict and forgive us. May today mark a new day of bridge building, mutual respect for all, and genuine listening to one another. I pray for these men and women who serve our county in this body. Grant them your divine wisdom as they govern. Grant them your heart as they serve. And grant them your patience as they do it together. Lord, in your mercy, heal our land and our world. As we are in the midst of this pandemic, would you comfort those who have lost loved ones and bring healing and strength to those who are currently in the battle. We thank you today for doctors and nurses in the front lines and all those who have served to bring us the vaccines. Make our hearts hopeful amidst the darkness. Lord, as dark as some days can be, may we never forget that there is always light in the world. Grant us the courage enough to these things we humbly pray and ask in the name of Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mueller. Present. Breslin.
Here.
Newquist. Here. Ogala. Sorry. Here. Cook. Here. Lustis.
Here.
Mitchell. Here. Tyson. Here. Tyson. Tyson here. Gould.
Here.
Van Dyne.
Present.
Balich.
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Here. Parker. Here. Ventura. Ventura's present. Coleman. Here. Markham.
Here.
Berkowitz. Here. Pretzel.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Freeman. Here. Kraulidis. Kraulidis here. Cowan. Here.
26 present. With 26 members being present, we have a quorum. I need a motion to place on file the certificate of publication.
Moved, Frizzalone. Second, Frizzalone.
The motion is second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mueller. Yes. Frizzalone.
Yes.
Frizzalone.
Yes.
Newquist. Yes. Ogella. Yes. Cook. Yes. Mostis.
Yes.
Mitchell. Yes. Tyson. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
Trainier. Yes. Fritz. Yes. Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes. Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Winfrey. Yes. Parker. Yes. Ventura. Yes. Coleman. Yes. Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz. Yes. Pretzel.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Freeman. Yes. Kraulidis. Kraulidis. Yes. Cowan. Yes.
26 affirmative. With 26 affirmative, the motion carries. Next, we need the approval of the reorganization meeting from December 7th, 2020 at 12 p.m. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second, Frizzalone.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? Can I get a motion for a previous roll call?
So moved, Mitchell. Second, Mueller.
Is there a second?
Second, Trainier.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we need a motion for the approval of the recess meetings from December 17th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. Is there a motion?
Motion, Trainier. Second, Mueller.
Previous roll. Second, Brooks.
With a motion, a second, previous roll call, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Finally, we need a motion to approve the special meeting from December 22nd, 2020 at 9:30 a.m.
Motion, Trainier. Second, Raymond.
Previous roll, Frizzalone.
Second, Mitchell.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. At this time, we'll acknowledge the elected officials and media present. Madam Clerk.
Today we have County Executive Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant, County Clerk Lawrence Daly Ferry, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, State's Attorney James Glasgow, and Treasurer Tim Brophy. And from the media, we have Nick Ryer from the Farmers Weekly Review and Alex Ortiz from the Herald News.
Thank you. There are no honorary resolutions or proclamations today. Are there any public comments for today's agenda items?
Madam Executive, not that I'm aware of.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on to old business. All resolutions and ordinance from the December 17th, 2020 board meeting have been signed and returned. There is no new business. We'll now go on to committee reports. Land Use and Development Committee, Chairman Markham.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I'd like to begin by making a motion to open the public hearing for all land use cases.
Is there a second?
Second, O'Gallagher.
Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mueller? Yes. Frizzalone?
Yes.
Newquist? Yes. O'Gala? Yes. Cook? Mustas? Mitchell? Yes. Tyson? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Trainier? Yes. Fritz? Yes. Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Reed? Yes. Parker? Yes. Ventura? Yes. Coleman?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz? Yes. Pretzel?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Freeman? Yes. Kraulidis? Yes. Cowan? Yes. 26 affirmative.
Thank you. We are now in public hearing. Please be advised absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once the land use public hearing is closed. Ms. Adams, do you have any comments from the public for the public hearing?
I'm not aware of any. I know we have an attorney for one of the cases on as an attendee. Chuck, Mr. McGrath, I've moved you over to panelist. I didn't know if you had a comment on your zoning case. Mr. McGrath, did you have a comment on your zoning case?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please share.
Okay. I just wanted to state that the first matter, I represent Mr. and Mrs. Boyle. They are requesting a map amendment to bring their property into compliance with the Will County zoning ordinance. And part of that too is they're asking for a variance on accessory building. The building will be approximately 2,800 square feet, which is in line with the buildings in the neighboring property owners. This parcel property was originally a part of Mrs. Boyle's family farm. They've lived there for 40 years. They have family members that are neighbors that also have accessory buildings. They're across the street, next door, on both sides. And they're both requesting that their variance and map amendment.
Thank you very much. With no further public comments, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Markham.
Second, Ventura.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mueller? Yes. Frizzalone?
Yes.
Newquist? Yes. O'Gala? Yes. Cook? Yes. Mustas?
Yes.
Mitchell? Yes. Tyson? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Fritz? Yes. Gould?
Yes.
Thank you. We're now out of a public hearing. Chairman Markham.
Thank you. First on the agenda is zoning case ZC-20-058, which is a request for a zoning map amendment from A1 to R1. This is in Wilton Township, commonly known as 31512 South Cedar Road, Manhattan, Illinois, County Board District number 6. For the map amendment, the PZC voted 6-0 to approve, and the committee voted 7-0 to approve, and I make the motion to approve.
Second, Gould. Previous roll call, Weigel. Second, Frisellon.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Second on the agenda is zoning case ZC-20-066, which is a request for a special use permit for having shipping trails and renting with two conditions. This is in Joliet Township at 110 Manhattan Road, Joliet, Illinois, County Board District number 8. PZC voted 7-0 to approve, Land Use and Development voted 6-0 to approve, and I make the motion to approve.
Second, Winfrey.
Previous roll.
Second, Berkowitz.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next up are our resolutions for this month. The first one is 20-477, which is a request for refund of fees for zoning case ZC-20-057. This takes place in Joliet Township at 4300 Raymay Drive, Joliet, Illinois, County Board District number 8. This is the case that last month I requested be remanded back to committee. The reason for that was there was some question about the timing of the application and exactly what happened for them to withdraw it. Pretty much what happened was they got preliminary approval from the health department, but then they moved the building closer to the septic field, which caused it to be denied. So I'll make the motion to approve. It is recommended by committee not to refund the fees, but I make the motion to approve.
Trenier will second.
Is there any discussion? We'll take a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mueller,
Yes.
Frisellon,
No.
Newquist,
Yes.
Ogalla,
No.
Cook,
Yes.
Mustis,
No.
Mitchell,
No.
Tyson,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Trainier,
No.
Fritz,
No.
Gould,
No.
Van Dyne,
No.
Balich,
No.
Brooks,
No.
Winfrey,
No.
Parker, no, Ventura,
The way he said he motioned to not approve the return, correct? No.
The motion was to return the refund it because all motions have to be made in the positive.
Right, okay, no.
Coleman,
No.
Markham,
No.
Berkowitz,
No.
Pretzel,
No.
Weigel,
No.
Freeman,
No.
Kraulidis,
No.
Cowan.
No. Hey, Lauren, I meant to be a no.
Okay.
Hey, Lauren, this is Margaret. I meant to be a no as well.
Okay. Mueller, no. Tyson, also no.
Correct. I didn't understand the question.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Member Cook?
Yes, I'm also a no. Oh, thank you.
Member Harris would like to be a no.
Okay. Member Newquist? Just confirming you're still a yes vote? Yes. Okay.
One affirmative, 25 negative. Motion denied.
Next up, we have number 2, which is authorizing extension 20-015 for special use permit for zoning case ZC-18-066 in Wilton Township, commonly known as 14251 West Joliet Road, Manhattan, Illinois, County Board District number 2, and I so move to approve.
Second, Gould.
Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mueller? Yes. Franzalone?
Yes.
Newquist? Yes. Ogala? Ogala? Yes. Yes. Mustis?
Yes.
Mustis?
Yes.
Mitchell? Yes. Tyson? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Trainier? Fritz? Trainier said yes. Sorry. Fritz was also yes. Thank you. Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Yes. Parker? Yes. Ventura? Yes. Coleman?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz? Yes. Pretzel?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Freeman? Yes. Kraulidis? Kraulidis, yes. Cowan? Yes.
26 affirmative. 26 affirmative, the motion carries.
Next up, we have number 3, which is 21-2, which is authorizing the second extension for 20-016 for special use permit for zoning case ZC-17-071. This is in Washington Township, commonly known as vacant property on East Indiana Avenue in Beecher, Illinois, County Board District number 1, and I make the motion to approve.
Second, Mueller.
Guess roll call.
Any discussion?
Michael. Second, Coach.
Previous roll call by County Board Member Weigel, seconded by Balich. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is number 4, which is 20-3, which is authorizing an extension 20-017 for special use permit for zoning case ZC-17-072. This also takes place in Washington Township, commonly known as vacant property on South Cottage Grove Avenue, Beecher, Illinois, County Board District number 1, and I so move to
Mustis.
Previous roll, Mueller. Second, Freeman.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Next up is number 5, which is 21-4, authorizing second extension 20-018 for special use permit, for zoning case ZC-18-002. This takes place in Manhattan Township, Township at 27555 South Gallagher Road, Manhattan, Illinois, County Board District number 2, and I make a motion to approve.
Second, bro.
Second, Berkowitz.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Finally is number 6, which is 20-5, overturning the decision of Planning and Zoning Commission and approving the appeal 20-002. This is for zoning case ZC 20-058 in Wilton Township, commonly known as 31512 South Cedar Road, Manhattan, Illinois, County Board District number 6. This is related to the first case that we approved the map amendment for. PZC voted 3-3 to deny the variance. Land Use and Development voted unanimously to overturn, to approve the appeal. So I make the motion to approve the appeal of the zoning, for the zoning case. So I so move.
Second, Frizzalone. Previous roll call, Mustis. Second, Van Dyne.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
That concludes Land Use and Development for today. Our next committee meeting is scheduled for February 9th at 10:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Markin. Next, we'll move on to the Finance Committee. Chairman Harris.
Good morning, Madam Executive, the County Board members, and all in attendance. The first item I have is the monthly reports being placed on file. I have 2. The first report is a report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of October 2020 to be $1,880,240.97. The RTA tax received is $2,238,248.79 for a total of $4,118,489.76. The second report is from the Will County Treasurer, dated November 30th, 2020. And that's from Will County Treasurer Tim Brophy, so I so move.
Second, Fritz.
Roll call,
Second, Berkowitz.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Okay, I have one resolution to bring forward. That's 21-6. That's authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents for the delinquent tax program. I so move. Second, Mustis. Previous roll for Zalone.
Second, Newquist.
Thank you. Are all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, that concludes my items to bring forward. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for February 2nd, 2021 at 11 a.m. We'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Public Works and Transportation Committee. Chairman Van Dyne. Joe, you're muted.
Sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Starting with number 1, 21-7, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Mokina and the County of Will for placement of license plate reading cameras located on county highways in the County of Will, and I so move.
Second, Weigel.
So any discussion?
Second, Berkowitz.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Fritz is a no.
Okay. Madam Clerk,
Mueller is also a no.
please hold the, Madam Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Mueller? No. Frizzalone?
Yes.
Newquist? Yes. Ogalla? Cook? Yes. Mustis?
Yes.
Mitchell? Yes. Tyson?
affirmative, 3 negative.
With 23 affirmative, 3 negative, the motion carries.
All right, thank you. Number 2, 21-8, authorizing approval of abandonment and declination of dedication of a portion of Will Center Road, County Highway 10 in Will Township, County Board District 1, and I'll make that motion.
And O'Gara.
Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mueller.
Yes.
Frizzalone. Frizzalone. Newquist. Yes. O'Gala.
Yes.
Cook. Yes. Mostis.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Tyson.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Malich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Winfrey.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ventura.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Pretzel.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Kraulidis.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
26 affirmative.
26 affirmative, the motion carries.
Number 3, 21-9, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for engineering services for the 2021 Will County Bridge inspections. County Board Districts 1 through 13, and I so move.
Second, Eustace.
Previous Winfrey. Second O'Gala.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
21-10, authorizing an IGA with the Village of Tinley Park for improvements on 80th Avenue from 191st Street to 183rd, County Board Districts 2 and 12, and I so move.
Second, Eustace. Previous roll, Weigel. Second, Pretzel.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 5, 21-11, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for the right-of-way acquisition services for several parcels of property along Bell Road from 151st Street to Martingale Lane, County Board District 7, and I'll make the motion.
Second, Frizzalone. Previous roll call, Eustace.
Second O'Gala.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
21-12, providing title commitment reports for use by county from Wheatland Title Guarantee Company for Cedar Road from Francis north to Lennox Street, County Board District 12, and I so move.
Second. Previous roll, Weigel. Second, Brooks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 7, 21-13, authorizing the Will County State's Attorney's Office to proceed with condemnation cases regarding the county's improvements on Cedar Road, County Highway 4 over Spring Creek, County Board District 7, and I so move.
Second, Frizzalone. Previous roll, Berkowitz. Second, Weigel. Second, Weigel.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And number 8, 21-14, authorizing use of county bridge tax funds for the Manhattan Township Road District reconstruction of the Baker Road structure over Jackson Branch, County Board District 2, and I'll make the motion.
Second, Eustace. Previous roll, Frizzalone. Second, Weigel.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Our next Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for February 2nd, 2021 at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Chairwoman Tyson.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We currently have 2 ongoing agenda items and no resolutions to introduce in the next meeting. And that concludes my report. And our next meeting is February the 3rd.
At 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Chairwoman Ventura for the Public Health and Safety Committee.
Yes, we have Resolution 21-15, the approval of 2021 Will County Comprehensive Noxious Weeds Work Plan, and I so move. Second, Newquist.
Yes, well, Club use this.
Second, Markham.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have item 21-16, awarding bid for pharmaceutical services at Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move. Second, Trinier. Previous roll, Berkowitz. Second, Fritz.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries.
And then last night at the Board of Health meeting, they did a report from the Health Department that 88,000 individuals in Will County have signed up for the vaccine. So if you have not signed up or your constituents need help doing so, you can point them to the Will County Health Department website. They are now vaccinating 5 days a week. Also, for those who saw the Herald News article about the Joliet Fire Chief, I wanted to let you know that Katie Weber from the Health Department has been in touch with the chief. I will also have a new business item later on in the meeting, but that concludes the report for Public Health and Safety. Our next meeting will be scheduled for February 3rd, 2021 at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Chairwoman Winfrey with Legislative and Judicial Committee.
Good morning, Madam Executive and fellow board members. The Legislative Committee met and heard updates on the federal and state agendas from our federal and state lobbyists, and also got an update on, or overview rather, on NACO and ISACO. We will meet again on February 9th at 9 a.m. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Next, Chairman Brooks with the Capital Improvements Committee.
Good morning, Madam Executive, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Capital Improvements Committee met last month, basically to pay bills. We have no resolution to bring forth this month, and our next meeting is scheduled for February 2nd, 10 a.m., following the Public Health and Safety Committee. And that is all I have, Madam Executive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Executive Committee, Speaker Cowan.
Thank you very much. Good morning, County Executive and County Board members. First, we have 2117, authorizing the County Executive to execute Amendment Number 1 to the lease agreement with the administrative offices of the State of Illinois, Department of Central Management Services for office space for the Illinois Workers' Compensation Commission at the Will County Courthouse, and I so move.
Second, Frizzle.
Previous roll, Mueller. Second, Berkowitz.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you. 21-18, setting delayed due date for Will County real estate taxes due to COVID-19 public health emergency, and I so move.
Second, Ventura. Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Sandine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
21-19 is something I'm very enthusiastic about and looking forward to getting more information out to the community about. We are creating a new emergency rental assistance fund with 2712 in fiscal year 2021 budget and appropriating funds from the recent COVID assistance authorization. This is more funding from the federal government, and I so move.
Second, Frizzle.
Previous roll, Ventura. Second, Trinier.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
Madam
carries.
Chair, this
is Board Member Trenier. I had a couple questions. I sent them out in the email. This obviously is the first step, giving us a line item in the budget, but I was just wondering who was going to be managing this program, if we know that at this point.
County Executive, do you want me to?
I was going to say, yes, I know we are internally discussing this right now, but Speaker Cohen, if you would like to address it.
Sure. I will just say we are going to have a CARES Act committee meeting next week, and we will be answering that question once we get the details of exactly what we need to do and how we need to do it, working in conjunction with the Executive's office to make sure that these funds are deployed per the federal guidelines and as quickly as possible to our residents who need them. So, Board Member Trenier, I appreciate the question. I don't have specific answers for you, except to say, please attend the CARES Act committee meeting if you're free, where we will have the answers and be making any decisions that we need to at that point.
Thank you. That was basically my question, what committee was going to be in that role. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, 21-20. I just want to alert board members, as we all know, this has been, quite the process. The letter of intent in 21-20 was updated last night. Your amended red line is on the updated agenda that we have currently here, and I believe State's Attorney Mary Tatro and the Executive's Office and our outside counsel, Chuck Elston, have all agreed that these are just little cleanup issues in the wording, tightening things up. And Leader Frizzalone and I have reviewed it as well. So, with all that being said, authorizing the Will County Executive to execute a letter of intent with Waste Management Illinois Incorporated and Waste Management Renewable Energy, evidencing their mutual intent to amend and setting forth specific terms to be amended in the original host agreement and the LFG purchase agreement for the Prairie View Landfill and Recycling Facility, and I so move.
Second, Ventura. Previous rule, Mueller. Second, Trenier.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. 21-21, authorizing the Will County Executive to execute a renewable natural gas purchase and sale agreement with U.S. Venture Incorporated, and I so move.
Second, Ventura. Previous one. Second, Berkowitz.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
21-22, authorizing the Will County Executive to execute a design-build services agreement with SCS Energy for the Prairie View Landfill gas upgrading system, and I so move.
Second, Ventura. Previous, Trenier. Second, previous, Mueller.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
21-23, authorizing the Will County Executive to execute a project labor agreement between the County of Will, Harbor Contractors, Will and Grundy County Building Trades Council, and the Three Rivers Construction Alliance for the construction of the Prairie View Landfill gas upgrading system, and I so move.
Second, Ventura. Previous, Trenier. Second, Berkowitz.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Very excited about this. Anyway, 21-24, replacement hire for the County Executive, Project Assistant, and I so move.
Second, Trenier. Previous role, Mueller.
Tyson.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And 21-25, replacement hires for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Second, Mueller. Previous, Trenier. Second, Fred.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, County Executive. Our next Executive Committee meeting is scheduled for February January 4th, 2021 at 10 a.m.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to appointment.
Before we move on, this is Ventura. If I may, apparently I've missed new business. I didn't realize it was at the beginning before we give our reports. I have 2 quick items. Would this be appropriate time to give them?
No, you missed it.
We will do them in your comment section.
Okay.
Board Member Ventura, thank you. Next, we're moving on to appointments to boards and commissions for the January 2021 appointments. The Will County 911 Emergency Telephone System Board has 3 reappointments and 1 new appointment. The Joint Arsenal Development Board has 1 reappointment. The Will County Workforce Investment Board has 1 reappointment. And I need a motion to approve the appointments.
Motion. Second, Trenier.
Previous roll, Tyson.
Second, Newquist.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, we're going to move on to public comment relative to matters under the jurisdiction of the county. Before we move on to public comments and counties by county board members, as a reminder, under the board rules, board members are to follow rules of decorum and should avoid characterizing another member's personal intent or motives and should avoid discussing personalities. And also should refrain from speaking disrespectfully of other board members. Public comment is an opportunity for citizens to convey their thoughts and ideas to the board. Board members should not respond to or debate the issues raised during public comment. At this time, are there any public comments?
Yes, ma'am. We have a number of public comments to be read into the record. I believe Lana Judaical is going to read those.
Lana, yeah, please turn on your mic and proceed.
I think, do you need to turn it on? Is it on? Okay. The first email that I have is from a person by the name of Julie. I ask that Will County Board member Debbie Kraulidis be asked to step down or resign from her position on the Will County Board. Debbie attended a riot in Washington, D.C. and posted her experience on Facebook. She stated in her video that, quote, "It was a great day," end quote, and, quote, "The rally was amazing," unquote. She goes on to state that she was in attendance at the rally to ensure that, quote, "only legal votes were counted," unquote, and implies that the presidential election was fraudulent. The election has been upheld on the courts over 61 times and has been proven to be free and fair election. Will County should not be represented by a conspiracy theorist who believes that the election was rigged. Will County should not be represented by someone who attended a rally that resulted in an assault on our nation. Will County should not be represented by an insurgent. I ask that Debbie be removed immediately from her position on your board. There is no place for conspiracy theorists in our government. My next email is from Kurt Paddock. 2 questions for consideration by the Will County Board. 1. Given Will County Board member Kraulidis' top-level leadership role in Moms for America, a sponsoring organization and partner in the extremist alliance that organized, promoted, and staged the event which incited insurrection in our nation's capital, should the Will County Board initiate an inquiry into whether she should be expelled from the county board or at a minimum severely censured. 2. Should the board take strong, clear, and assertive action to ensure that Will County's governing body and its citizens do not continue due to Board Member Kraulidis' irresponsible actions and gravely misguided decisions to be associated in any way with the preparation, incitement, provocation, and or execution of heinous and seditious events. Next is an email from Xavier Duran. Board members, my name is Xavier, a resident of District 8 of Joliet. I am writing to ask you to represent me during the next county board meeting by censuring and removing Debbie Kraulidis from the Will County Board. Board member Kraulidis fled her duties to her tax-paying constituency by attending a rally in D.C. that forsook the democratic process, escalated to violence, and crescendoed into the death of several law enforcement officers. If this behavior indicates her future conduct, she should not be in a position of power. I ask you and your colleagues on the board to move ahead with her censure and removal. Thank you for your consideration, Xavier D. Next is an email from Sue Majerzik. Hello, Will County board members. As a Plainfield resident, I've recently come across news about a particular Will County board member that I find to be disturbing. With heightened emotions surrounding these past few years concerning everything from politics to the current pandemic of COVID-19, I hope that local leaders would be models for residents to follow. However, on January 6th, at the insurrection, Debbie Kraulidis did quite the opposite, spreading lies about an election that has been deemed by both Democratic and Republican officials everywhere to be legitimate. While I applaud people for peaceful protesting, expressing their opinions in cordial debate, I do not believe people who do the opposite should be in leadership positions. There is a link attached to this email with a video that was on C-SPAN with her speech. Along with the video, there is much more in the form of social media that I came across. However, I do not intend to go down that road, as I have found social media is an instant reaction, and people who might think in person about what they will say do not think on social media. I also do not agree with her group, Moms for America, on so many fronts, hosting Republican Mary Miller, who quoted Hitler, and not denouncing her comments, ostracizing people based on their beliefs, but everyone has the right to be a part of the clubs they choose, even if hateful. As a mom myself, I take pride in teaching my children acceptance, love, being open-minded about things we don't understand, separating facts and science from opinions and communications as the first step to solve any problems. My concern again is having a local leader who wants to heighten feelings of division, misleading the public, and doing so in a very vocal way. And finally, while discussing this situation with other moms and residents in the area, it was brought to my attention things have been said by other board members publicly that are definitely not acceptable in my opinion. However, I do not have first-hand knowledge of those situations and cannot speak to them directly, but I assure you people are upset and saddened about them. Thank you for your time to hear my concerns. I truly do hope there is a better path forward and that Will County rises above the toxic environment spread so thick throughout our country for the last 4 years. The next email is from Dovey Shelby. My grandfather fought in World War I. Upon his return from battle, he paid his taxes, including a voting poll tax in Mississippi, where his money was good, but his vote never mattered. My mother and father never went to an integrated school, but moved to Illinois to obtain better opportunities for their family. While alive, my mother worked as an election judge in the Forest Park neighborhood. Today, I am an election judge serving Will County since 2016. It troubles me when an elected official tries to disenfranchise voters because they look like me and exercise their right to vote. Particularly, my race of people received voting privileges just over 55 years ago. Coincidentally, Ms. Kraulidis, as a Caucasian woman, you have had the right to vote since 1920. It troubles me when an elected official picks out Philadelphia, Detroit, Atlanta, and Milwaukee as cities to contest the votes because the voters chose a different candidate and those voters happen to look like me. As an African American election judge, I wonder if you would question me for my work in counting votes. I count votes with Democrats and Republicans. I took an oath of office to carry out this duty with integrity. It frightens me that an elected official would seek to overturn specific elections because their candidate of choice did not win. Ms. Debbie Kraulidis, should your election be overturned? Was your election a fraud, and should we silence the voters in your precinct who elected you to office? Instead, you attended a rally in Washington, D.C. to overturn the Electoral College voting process. You skipped a diversity committee meeting to attend this event, which turned violent. There are those who would say that you have a right to protest, and that is true. Nevertheless, I find it difficult to believe that you would serve effectively on a diversity committee when your actions show that you would disenfranchise voters who look like me. I question if you understand the meaning of a diverse community. Ms. Kraulidis, will you be able to look after the interests of all constituents in the Will County community and not see race, creed, or color? By your actions, I am not convinced. Ms. Kraulidis, if you keep your position on the board, I will accept it. Unlike you, who isn't willing to accept a lawfully elected President Joseph R. Biden Jr. I am glad that you went to the rally, because if you hadn't gone, I wouldn't have seen this side of your character. Remember from the words of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we want everyone not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Therefore, I will judge you of the same standard that you have judged the people of Philadelphia, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Detroit. In the words of Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them. Ms. Kraulidis, you have shown me who you are, and I believe you. I hope Will County Board sends you to diversity and sensitive training, because from your actions, it is needed for you to effectively serve on this committee. Let this stand as a public record from Doe V. Shelby, Romeoville resident of Will County, and active union steward for AFSCME Local 2467. And I have one more that just came in. This is from Dennis Kyler. 1 month ago, I was told by the Will County Health Department I was on a course to receive my vaccine at the end of January or beginning of February. Yesterday, I was told I'd be lucky to get the vaccine by April or May. The individual answering the phone at the health department could not answer any questions. They could not answer how many vaccines Will County had obtained, how many had been administered, how many were sitting on some shelf somewhere. That person advised me to check with CVS and Walgreens. Maybe that could help out. Then I read an article in the Joliet Herald News regarding the Joliet Fire Department offering to help and receiving no cooperation from the health department. It is hard to believe that cities and villages in this county are not willing to help. Local units of government and the health department need to communicate a need to figure this out. They have had at least 10 months to figure this process out, and here we sit being told to be patient and wait. Please take the lead role and get this figured out. People are dying. The public and voters are watching.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to comments by the county board members. If you could please raise your hand, and we will acknowledge you as you raise your hand. I do know that I do see County Board Member Trenier's hand.
Naturally.
Thank you, Madam Executive. Empathy is a really hard thing to have for people who choose routes that are not legal. I'm addressing my comments really to Board Member Kraulidis. The purpose for your protest was false. You could have gone the legal route and filed a complaint with the county clerk with evidence showing any kind of voter fraud in your community, anywhere in the state, actually. You were elected in that very same election. I didn't see you file paperwork to ask for an audit of your election to make sure that you were legally elected. So I'm just concerned about why you were there. If it didn't happen in Will County, I didn't understand the need to skip your duties as a county board member to go to Washington, D.C. But I'm going to continue to try to be empathetic towards you and the others that attended that rally that caused the sedition and the attack on our nation's symbol of democracy. And I really look forward to the needs of the people who were actually at that seditionist, traitorous in my mind, rally, as well as those of the black and brown communities and the working poor communities. I'm really looking forward to those needs being met by the new administration. And I would imagine today is a really hard day for you, and for that, I'm sorry, and hopefully going forward things will be better. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have County Board Member Ventura.
Another socialist.
Yes, well said, Jackie. I second those remarks. My comments are, I have two of them. The first is to the last public comment speaker. We do hear you in your frustrations with the vaccines. I want to formally put this out there on the county board that I would like to have a discussion of hiring a director of vaccines. I have been in touch with Sue Olinick about this. She does feel that this is a good idea. However, the county board does not control the operations of the health department. That is done by the Board of Health. I did attend their meeting last night, but unfortunate, I had another meeting before I was able to give public comment there, so I will be writing a letter to the Board of Health as well as CCing Speaker Cowan and Executive Regino Tarrant on that letter. I also know that their offices have been in touch, and basically what we're saying is we will all be working in one direction to make sure we have the best help possible in order to get this out, including working with every agency, public and private. I do know that our health department has talked with our schools, and obviously overlooking the fire department was an oversight, but we are trying to move forward and so that we can get the vaccines out as quick as possible. That being said, our county has vaccinated 1.3%, and it is fourth highest in the state. So we are trying very hard to make sure we get that out. So I just ask for the support of everybody on this board and the executive board to help, push forward with the director of vaccinations and ask the health board to do so. My second comment is I have brought up in different committees the need for how to use our cannabis dollars. I have also brought it up in caucus. I am now formally requesting to have the resolution that I have submitted heard on a committee. The resolution is towards repairing the transgenerational damage done through the war on drugs and mass incarceration assigned to a committee hopefully for next month. I have sent the final resolution to Beth Adams to ask to make sure everyone has that. I know you were given a previous version some months ago. This has been in the works since obviously last year when we first set aside the cannabis dollars. Earlier this summer, I started working on a resolution which was brought to the Democratic Caucus in the fall. It was heard on the legislative committee sometime later, and I'm just hoping that we can move forward with this resolution and have a formal vote. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have County Board Member Kraulidis.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I have my video on. Can you hear me, Madam Executive?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I would like to briefly say a few words here today. There have been some terrible slanderous statements being said about me and some outright ridiculous false accusations. It's unfortunate that some people have stooped to this level. I attended an event at the Capitol lawn on January 5th, which was why I was in Washington, D.C. I also attended the January 6th rally at the Ellipse Park. After the rally, we walked towards the Capitol and to our hotel. I was not on the Capitol grounds or at the Capitol building at all on January 6th. So to the people that keep saying I was there, I was not, and that is a lie. We found out about the break-in to the Capitol when we were at our hotel, when family and friends started calling us to see if we were safe. We were absolutely and totally shocked to find out what was happening, and appalled like everyone else. Let me be clear, I condemn the violence that happened at the Capitol, and it is totally inexcusable. I believe that reasonable people here today will see and condemn the politics of personal destruction that is being used on me and others. This type of behavior needs to stop, and I believe that we are better than this. Our county and our country needs to be united. That is true, more than ever. I believe that we can respect one another's opinions, and we can work together for the betterment of Will County. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have County Board Member Ogala.
Thank you, County Executive. I just want to make some comments here regarding the letters that were read, as well as things that have happened over the course of the last couple of years. I'm well aware that there are members that sit on the other side of the aisle from mine that are part of the Southwest Suburban Activist Organization and the Will County Progressive Organization. I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of the facts that they have organized many of the rallies for BLM and protests for BLM or whatever. I never once heard them condemn publicly the riots that happened, the pillaging that happened, the burning that happened, the poor business owners in those districts where these people chose to go and do these criminal acts. Yet, the same group of people, who you guys are members of, are doing that. And Jackie, you go and call somebody out? You call somebody out when I remember you looking at us Republicans and saying that all Republicans are rich? This is what's happening here. We have lost all decorum. And you expect us to sit back and listen to what you have to say. You're not the thought police. You are not right. Everyone in America has the right to their own opinion, and that's what's great about America. We have that right. But in having that right, we have to also respect the fact that somebody else has another opinion, and we have to respect that opinion. But if we want to go around slapping each other in the face and calling each other names and deciding that one particular member of one particular caucus should step down, well, if we're going to do this, I believe that we could be doing this every week. Is that how we're going to go? Is that what it's about? Members of our community, you need to understand, America is made of many different people. And we all have different religions or no religion. We all have different ways of life, and some agree with us and some don't. And that is right, and that's what's great about America. If you lived in another country, you would not have those freedoms. So start respecting those freedoms and stop being ridiculous and telling somebody who chose her right to go to D.C. with her group of women, Moms for America, who believe strongly, as I do, in their cause. That's what they believed in. They have that right, just as you have your right to get together and protest for what you believe in. But to come to before this board and have members of this board have said things that we've done things wrong, that we're a bunch of the white elitists and supremacists and all that, I am done with that. I've said this before. We need to stop it. We need to be respectful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a County Board Member Mitchell.
Hi, Madam President, and everyone. Unfortunately, I'm flabbergasted. I can't believe that my colleagues have taken this opportunity to jump on a very negative bandwagon, as I see it. I know Debbie personally, and she shows nothing but love and respect to everyone that she meets and everyone that's around her. It's just amazing. I can't believe that you guys will say these things. Speaking of police officers, one of the things I would like to bring up is HB 3653. If we really truly care about law enforcement, police officers, and the safety and security of our communities. We would not support HB 3653 as a county. We should stand up for our deputies who are out in the street. They need our support. They need to know that we stand behind them. Cannot talk about lawlessness and breaking law and what happened to those officers in D.C. without talking about what could possibly happen here if we do not support our police officers, and absolutely say we will not stand with those in Springfield if you're going to support HB 3653. That's it. I can't see it. One of the things that was mentioned when they were talking about Debbie was black and brown people. One of our colleagues mentioned having mentioned that as well. And one of the things I have to say about that is black and brown people moved out to certain areas to get away from crime and criminality, and they moved away from areas where they felt unsafe. We do not want to have those things brought here in this county, in our communities, in our areas. We just want a decent life. And I just think that if you're going to talk about your caring about black and brown people and wanting to see them thrive and flourish, you can't say that without talking about the safety and security of them. Or of us rather. So I'm just gonna say that I wish that our county would step forward, our board would step forward and outright repudiate HB 3653. Do what we can to talk our governor out of this. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Next, we have County Board Member Fritz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. First, I will say I could not agree more with Will County Board Member Ogala and Will County Board Member Mitchell on their respective comments. What I would really like to, the reason I rose my hand is to ask the Health Department, Sue Olenek specifically. We're getting a number of emails from community members who have questions, concerns about the rollout of the vaccination, when they can get it, and frankly, I will say, the answers that I've provided so far to community members, they're unsatisfied, and I would really appreciate, and in my role as an elected official who receives these type of emails, I would really appreciate a standard response that we can send to people so that our response is consistent and unified. I feel ill-equipped to answer these questions. So I would like to be equipped to answer these questions for our community members. That's what they elected us to do, and I have always striven to fulfill my duty as an elected official. So I don't like the feeling that I'm letting my people down, that I'm not able to give people the answers that they want to hear, or even not the answer they want to hear, but an authoritative, accurate answer. So I would really appreciate in the next couple of weeks if we could get some sort of response from the health department that we can all send out in response to those questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final county board member, their hands up, is County Board Member Balich.
Yes, I've listened to all the comments, and I agree with Judy Ogala and what Cal Mitchell said. But you know what? Everybody's thinking about one side or the other, and I'm not understanding how it's okay to bully somebody like Debbie Kraulidis because she went to Washington for something she believed in with a great group like Moms for America. Now, when somebody else on the opposite side of the aisle goes out and goes to a peaceful march that turns into a violent march all over change. I think everyone's going to have their own thoughts. We don't have to agree. So, you know what, I don't know who's in charge of making the rules, but we should start trying to keep it sensible, but we should argue about county issues, not national issues, and we should never be bullying somebody like what's happening to Debbie Kraulidis. Thank you.
Thank you. We had an additional hand, County Board Member Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I have tried to get my thoughts so that I can share my words. I do feel that anyone has the right to go protest what they feel strongly about. And I do agree with what I'm hearing from both sides of the aisle on this topic. I do feel that from listening to the letters, a lot of the concern was that Ms. Kraulidis did not attend her meetings that were scheduled for that day, and that is a county issue. I would like to keep national issues away from the county board meetings because they are not as important to our constituents for our job as county board members. Obviously, I don't agree with what she stands for, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to tell her she can't stand up for those things. That's what makes America so wonderful. So I just want to say that if we want to be disheartened about anything, it would be that the missing of the scheduled meetings as an elected official, that is where the county board would have to look. All other things aside, let's just work together. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you. So, I'm dismayed by the comments and the accusations about these disgraceful riot that we had at the Capitol. There's a lot of emotion going out there, but we need to be truthful, and we need to understand that words are very important. Our nation has been experiencing riots, destruction, in the name of public protest for the last year and prior to that. Although that's never discussed, Portland, Seattle, those cities have been burning a long time. And it was before COVID, and it was in no way related to the last 4 years, the administration of the last 4 years. I don't know where the outrage is in the country about all of those protests. We're fixated on one day. And the conversation to blame one part of the population in respect to that riot is dismaying to me. There's an investigation going on, there's a process, yet everybody has already made up their mind. Another question is, where is the outrage about the violence that occurred during the inauguration of President Trump in 2017? I ask this question because I would like people to think about these things. I was in Washington, D.C. at that inauguration, and I experienced it. It was scary. They even had police officers that were taken to the hospital, one in critical condition. So this has been going on a very long time. Let's think about that. And let's realize, before we point fingers at each other, that this is a very complicated issue, and not one part of the population is to blame for this. Also, I want to comment on this never-ending focus of race. being a biracial person who's often accused of being a white racist and every other buzzword, I don't understand why this rhetoric continues, because we are people of all walks of life, and every person matters, and every person has the same needs. And I believe that that is the only way to approach what we're doing here. Yes.
Board Member Berkowitz, I'm going to need you to wrap up. You're well over your 3 minutes. Thank you. You can finish your thought, please. Thank you.
I will. So what I'm asking is that we focus more on helping all people, every person, and don't bring in these arguments that continue to divide everybody. And I think if we do that, we can be successful, and we can also help to heal all of this conflict that we see. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Newquist.
Yes, I just want to say that while I respect everyone's feelings on this issue, I'm a little confused. I have not heard a county board member call for County Board Member Kraulidis' removal. Those were public comments by the public that were read. So while respecting everyone's opinions, I would hope that we could just move on from this and, move on to more relevant information and business of the county board. I'm not going to comment. Everyone has said everything that I could already say, but I guess I'm just really confused why we're having this discussion because, like I said, I've not heard anyone call for her removal. Thank you.
Thank you. It's come to my attention that we did miss a public comment. Somebody had their hand raised, so we are going to go back quickly to recognize the caller on our public comment.
Thank you, Madam Executive. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Drugan, you have a comment?
Hi, yes, thank you so much. I do appreciate you guys taking my call. So I have pretty much listened to all of the comments that everyone has had to say. So I am going to be the person that sits in the middle of the room. Deborah, you did have a right to go down there and do your protesting. My problem is with the fact that our president called for people to go down there, and he instigated the violence that ensued. I can't prove one way or another whether you were or weren't down there. It makes no sense to me that on the main day that everyone was protesting, you claim that you weren't there on the 6th. I'm not going to say that you're a liar because I don't have proof of that. I will say that you used very poor judgment. And for folks to sit out there, it's very disingenuous to say that the Democrats or the people over on the other side have not called out the people that were doing the stuff on the Black Lives Matter movement. The fact of the matter is there was folks that were committing illegal acts there as well. There's one big difference though, Deborah. The folks that were down where you were at were committing acts of sedition, traitorous acts against our government. That is the difference. I pulled up and I looked online for your Moms of America. You're a very hateful lady. And when you show us who you are, we need to listen. We need to pay attention. And at the end of the day, folks that were committing illegal acts when the Black Lives Matter marches were going on as well, I was involved. I was down there marching for our brothers and sisters' lives. Because the fact of the matter, the problem that we're having here that no one wants to talk about is the systemic racist system that we are all trying to live within. I thought what you said Made a whole lot of sense. You're new to the board, correct, Raquel? Raquel Mitchell, I agree with part of what you said, and so my hope and my prayer is that you, along with the other board members, since you want to talk about folks being treated right, Will County Agents of Change have a resolution sitting at the board right now that needs to be passed. These are part of the things that need to be talked about, which unfortunately several people on the Will County board don't want to talk about this uncomfortable subject. We don't want to talk about race in America. Well, if we can't talk about it, when are we going to? At the end of the day, we are all responsible for what we do. We are all responsible for what we do and how we behave and how we treat each other. We need to get this country moving in a better direction, and we need to start right here in Will County. It's time to have this uncomfortable discussion, folks. Whether you want to have it or not, it needs to be said.
You're going to be cut off. You need to wrap up your comments. You're well over your...
All right, I do appreciate you, and I apologize. I didn't hear you saying that. I'm so sorry. So at the end of the day, we all do need to come together, but we need to have this uncomfortable conversation. And I do pray, and I hope that Deborah isn't removed.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move on to the announcements by the majority leader, minority leader, and the county board speaker. Are there any announcements by our majority leader?
I'm sorry, did you call on me, Jennifer?
We're moving on to the announcements by the majority. Yep, do you have any announcements?
I apologize.
Yes,
I do. I apologize. My headphones came unplugged. Good morning, Executive Bertino Tarrant, Speaker Cowan, Leader Frizzalone, and my fellow board members. This has been a remarkably turbulent month for all of us and for our nation. Obviously, from all the discussions today, we've witnessed some events in our capital that most of us didn't ever think were going to be possible. Would ever happen. And let me be clear, I do condemn the insurrection that happened that day, and I believe that authentic unity cannot happen without accountability. During watching all this bedlam and experiencing it from home, I keep hearing a lot of us talk about being better than this, and I think that's the problem. There's some of us that haven't been better than this. We keep proving it over and over again, and we're each responsible for our own choices. No matter what those are. I do have a lot of hope for us, though, because I know that as human beings, we are capable of growth and change. I have faith in us, in enough of us that will come together so that we can carry all of us forward, as President Biden stated yesterday in his speech. I agree with him. I really look forward from this point on seeing how our board works together so that we all can help have these conversations to help heal the divides and bring our communities together. I think that we have a lot of potential here, folks, lots of passion. So I want to let you all know that I appreciate you, and that concludes my comments for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Minority Leader Frizzalone, any comments?
Yes, I do. First, I wanted to talk about our new RNG facility. Like our speaker, I am so excited to get to this point. We have spent in leadership probably a year working on the mechanics to all of this. There will be more resolutions than the 4 we've passed already, but we're on our way. I'm excited. I've actually dubbed this project Cash for Gas from Trash. And I think within the next 2 years, we're going to see cash coming in to both pay for the building and to add to the county coffers, that hopefully we can give some relief to our citizens when it comes to that. So I'm really excited about this project. Secondly, we have a new administration in Washington. Some people are happy and some people are not. But what we need to remember is this body is where the rubber meets the road for our Will County constituents. If we focus on making our county government run as efficient as possible and have a goal of making Will County a great place to live, work, and play for all, we'll have done our job. And that's what I think we need to focus on. And I think we do a good job of that. We just need to continue on that. Also, it looks like the governor's going to probably announce today, if he hasn't already, or tomorrow, that we're going to be back open, at least at a 25% capacity in restaurants and shops. So if that does happen, run out this weekend and spend some cash at all of our local businesses and restaurants so we can help them get back to financial health. Comments were made about the health department. I don't know if you saw that, but Sue just sent a email over, and it's one of her updates, but it also does update the information on the mass vaccine. Like Rachel, I was on the Board of Health meeting yesterday. There was a lot of good information that came out of it. They're vaccinating people as fast as they can. They have more locations ready to go. The only limitation is the allocation that we've been given for vaccines at this point. They've given every vaccine out that they possibly can. Like Rachel said, 25,000 people who are vaccinated already, and 7,000 people already have their second vaccination. And in Sue's letter, she says within 2 weeks, it'll look like we'll be moving to phase 1B. So I think they are doing a good job underneath the circumstances, but you can't vaccinate people if you don't have the vaccines. They get a call, they're told that they can have whatever the number is, they can say we'll take them all or we'll only take half, and they've said we take all every time they've gotten that call. So the more vaccine that they get, the more we'll be able to vaccinate, and I think the program will really start ramping up as those vaccines become available. So thank you. It's going to be cold out. Make sure you bundle up and enjoy the rest of this winter month. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. I appreciate your clever byline for RNG. Last but not least, we have our speaker.
Thank you, County Executive. I want to address a couple important things today, and the first is probably the most difficult, so I want to get that out of the way. I have received dozens of emails, like the public comment we received today, asking me to expel Debbie Kraulidis from the Will County Board. And I want to be very clear, first, about the legal authority of this board, and then secondly, about my opinion. First, to the legality, this board has absolutely no legal authority to expel a member for any reason. Even if board member Kraulidis had broken the law, and let me be clear, I have no evidence that board member Kraulidis broke any laws, but even if she had, we would still not have the authority to force her off of the Will County Board. It is completely off the table. But people have also asked me to call for board member Kraulidis to resign. I will not do that, and I'd like to explain why. On the afternoon of June 1st, 2020, I joined in a peaceful protest in downtown Naperville. I walked side by side with the mayor of Naperville, who is a known Republican, and multiple city council members who are a variety of different parties, and hundreds of people who were devastated that yet another person of color had been murdered by an officer whose job was supposed to be protecting people. While I was present, it was a passionate but completely peaceful protest. But later that night, something else happened. Stores were broken into and property was destroyed. One person was injured. Luckily, no one was killed, and a huge group of citizens showed up the next morning and the downtown was clean by 9 a.m. I don't believe my participation in the march, or for instance, the mayor's participation in that peaceful march that afternoon, as passionate as it was, had anything to do with the destruction that happened later that night. I would reject the assertion that because I took part in a peaceful protest, that I as an elected official should have to step down because of what happened later. I don't support what happened later. I've condemned it publicly, even though some of my board members seem to have not heard that, and I never encouraged it. To the best of my knowledge, the same can be said of board member Kraulidis' participation in the protests in Washington on January 6th. To the best of my knowledge, she did nothing illegal, nor did she encourage illegal behavior in others. She has made clear her statement today that she renounces the violence. If she had participated in that violence, my statement today might be different. And don't get me wrong, Debbie and I disagree on just about everything when it comes to typical partisan issues. I am also disappointed that, especially as a new board member, she chose to miss Forest Preserve and County Board meetings her constituents hired her to attend in order to attend a partisan political event. But as Speaker of the Board, and frankly as an elected official, I often need to put my own feelings and opinions aside. Not only myself, but probably 3/4 of this board have participated in partisan political events that, quote, the other side thought was inappropriate in the last year. So I will not, I really cannot, in my role as Speaker, ask for Board Member Kraulidis to step down. I know this statement is going to be less satisfactory to many people. I understand your frustration with the events that unfurled on January 6th, and I share them. I understand your fear about what that signifies about the partisan divide in our country. I know that Board Member Kraulidis' presence in D.C. on January 6th worries you because it signals that this isn't a national problem, that it's actually a local problem as well. But I will not deepen the partisan divide by stepping beyond my role and asking Board Member Kraulidis to step down from her position. The reality is, as politicians, we often participate in partisan political events. For a lot of us, that's how we got our start. But I will ask my fellow board members to help me keep our eyes on the prize, to focus on county issues. The vast majority of what we do is not partisan. We handle a lot of the same things that nonpartisan city councils and village boards handle. Not to be reductionist about what we do, but potholes don't have D's and R's in front of them. I would ask the same thing that Steve Balich asked a few minutes ago. Yeah, sometimes even Steve and I agree on things. I would ask us to keep divisive partisan issues about which we have no authority on the county board, typically state and federal issues, out of this boardroom so that we can focus together on the business of this county. To that end, I would like to just mention that the relationship this board has to our law enforcement community is a strong one, bipartisanly. This board has continually supported our law enforcement community, both caucuses. Our most recent budget included an almost $4 million increase to funding of our Sheriff's Department, a 3.9 increase. We support our law enforcement community. Over $1 million of these dollars were earmarked to purchase body cams that will be worn by deputies who respond to service calls. So let me be clear once again. In Will County, the Will County Board, we are committed to supporting safe and responsible policing, which I believe we have, and which I believe we can continue to improve as we always seek to improve our county services. Another issue on the county's table that I have enjoyed working bipartisanly on in the last few months is the RNG facility. And to this end, I would like to publicly say that, we've had a lot of the meetings about the negotiations that just involved leadership, and I have really enjoyed working with Minority Leader Mike Frislone on this project. He has strengths that I don't. I think we complement each other well in these conversations, and it's a really great example of how when we focus on what matters to our constituents and we focus on county issues, how we can get really big things done that matter to our constituents. I want to say a special thanks to previous county executives and previous county board leadership who started this process long before I was even on the board. And to see a big chunk of this come to fruition today, certainly not the whole thing, as Leader Frislone mentioned, we have a lot more to do, but to see a big part of it come to fruition today, we should all be really proud about that. It's taken a lot of hard work, and we're getting there. Finally, I would also like to echo Leader Frislone's comments about COVID stuff. Things are looking good. Please remain safe. I would also like to ask all of our board members, our staff, anyone else who is listening, please encourage your constituents to fill out the Will County Health Department survey that's available on their website at willcountyhealth.org. This is the tool that the health department is using to build their list of residents who are interested in getting vaccinated. I want to reiterate what the health department has been saying. Will County continues to be in phase 1A. Vaccinated hospital staff, first responders, medical professionals. It may take weeks, given the amount of vaccine we are currently getting at the county before we can move to phase 1B. And that's the phase in which most seniors will be vaccinated. So when you fill out that survey, you may not get a response right away, but know that your information reports from the state in today, maybe next few days. The numbers have been good. We have our fingers crossed. Keep safe, keep shopping online, keep ordering out if we can. Safely attend restaurants in person. That'll be great. There's a light at the end of this tunnel, and I'm glad we're here. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to move on to executive session. I need a motion to move into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Motion, Mueller.
Second, Fritz. Previous roll, Trinier.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, we need to take a roll. I'm sorry. Yep, sorry.
Mueller?
Yes.
Frizzalone?
Yes, yes.
Newquist? Yes. Ogala?
Yes.
Cook? Yes. Mustis?
Yes.
Mitchell? Yes. Tyson? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trinier? Yes. Fritz?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyke? Illich?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Winfrey? Yes. Parker? Yes. Ventura? Yes. Coleman?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz?
Yes.
Pretzel? Pretzel?
Yes. Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Freeman? Yes. Kraulidis? Yes. Cowan?
Yes.
26 affirmative.
Thank you. We'll now go into executive session. Do we have, Beth, do we have instructions to how our folks get into executive
Beth, can
session?
you resend it to me? This is Musis. I don't have it.
Everyone, you should be able to look on your calendar. There is a calendar invite, like on your calendar where your county appointments come. There's a calendar invite that is at 10 a.m. WebEx meeting invitation executive session. There's a join meeting button, or there's the phone-in number as well.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just wait a few minutes while people get into executive session.
This is Micah Freeman. It is asking for a password. Is there a way to get that?
Ms. Freeman, I will text you the password.
Can you send me the password too? Musis.
I also need that if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. This is Debbie. Debbie, can you share that with me?
Yeah, the invitation says get the password from the host. So I think everybody's gonna need it.
Yeah, we all need it. You know?
Folks, the password is the same as it always is for executive session. I sent out an email about this last week with what the password is for executive session. Beth can forward it, but I'll send another email today that explains this. But we use two different passwords: the one to get into the general session and the one to get into the executive. And it's always one of those two.
Just for clarification, is that when you're calling in on the phone? Is that